In this tutorial, we're going to add some images into our tables, and we're going to display those images in a form. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to choose a table for our images. I'm going to add images to our product table, and I'm going to open it in Design View. In Design View, I'm going to add on a field called image, and this field is going to be a type attachment. In previous versions of Access, we would have used OLE object, but in Access 2013 we have the attachment option, so we're going to select it, and then I'm going to save the changes to my table. Now when I go to the datasheet view, what we find when we scroll across is we have some strange options that have appeared. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to manage attachments. So this is for my first product, they're in order, so I'm going to manage attachments, and I'm going to attach the appropriate file. And the files that I have here are item number 1, so I'm going to attach this. And you can see that it's counting the number of attachments. I could have multiple attachments per record, but I only have one at the moment. I'm going to add an attachment to the second item. And I'm going to continue that with the items that I've saved. Now obviously you need to have your images saved beforehand in order to be able to attach them. So I've now attached one image to each of the records in my product table. I can't see the images at the moment, but that's because I'm in datasheet view. Really, to be able to use the images and see the images, I need to create a form. So the next thing that I'm going to do is create a form for my product. I'm going to choose create, and I'm going to use a wizard for the form. Now this is coming from my product table, which is the one that is already selected. It's going to have machine ID, machine name, most of the information. Now as I add the information across, you'll notice that there are a number of fields that have been added with respect to the image. So there's the image file first of all, and then I have a number of extra fields that I didn't add: the file data, flags, file name, date stamp, the type, and the URL. That's information that I could add into my form. At the moment, I don't want to add the information in. It might be useful if I want to reference the original image, but I just want the image to appear. So I'm choosing next. It's a columnar form, and I'm changing the name to form product, or FRM product, just so that I have a common naming scheme. When my form opens up, you'll see that I have an image that is connected to the machine. So the Magnifica 4000 by DeLonghi has its own image, and when I move to the next record, the image changes. This is the Morphy Richards Accent 1700. Now there's a little bit of scrolling that's taken place in order to see all the information, but as with most of the components in Access, you can change the view. So I'm going to move to Design View. I'm going to change some information. So first of all, form product, which is the title, I'm going to change to product information, and I want to increase the size of that little box just so that it all fits on one line. I'm changing the name in the header, but it's not affecting the name of the form, which is form product on the left hand side. And this information, I can change the size of my form, and I can start to move things around as I please. So my image, for example, I might decide that I want to move my image up in my form to the top corner. Now these machine names and manufacturers aren't going to take up a lot of room, so I'm going to select them. I'm going to select them en masse, and I'm going to resize them just to pull them out of the way a little bit. And this label that says image, well, the image is fairly self-explanatory, so I don't really need a label. So I'm selecting my label, and I am deleting it. So So right click and delete. And I'll just move my image over a little bit. So it's just the label that I've deleted, not the actual image. And that should allow me to have most of the information on. All of these values here are labels, so you can really put whatever you want in a label. There's machine name, for example, that doesn't have a space between the word machine and the word name. So I'm going to add it in. That hasn't affected the link to the database. If I was to change machine name here, it would cut the link to the database and it wouldn't pull the information through anymore. So I can change the labels to whatever I want as long as they don't change the actual link to the information. I'm going to go back to my form and you'll see that the image now appears on the top right, and as I scroll through the images I can see the product that I want. Now obviously I can add in new invoices and I can create an invoice form that also displays the image of the product that's being purchased. When I want to add in a new machine, then I can type in the name and I can right click on this box where the image would go and manage attachments in order to add a new image into my form.